All right. Hi, everybody. We're live. It is CIBN TV time on YouTube. And if you're watching us on Facebook or other channels, welcome. Welcome. We are here today and we're going to be talking with Sharon Oberritter and we're going to be discussing travel. And we're going to be talking about a few different things of travel. We're going to be showing you some great travel pictures that Sharon has brought with her. So come with us as we travel to some exciting places through video today. And also, let's talk about why you would want to use a travel concierge, someone who has the experience of helping you through the process. You know what, Sharon? I think that today this has become a more important issue than it has ever been before. I know that people, prior to the pandemic were going, well, I can do it myself. I'll go online and I'll go, book my own trip and I'll get it cheaper if I do this and I do that. You know, I know myself that cheaper is not always better because you might be experiencing, more trouble with no one there to help you. What would you say to folks that were trying to figure out their own travel things all by themselves?
I would say using a professional is the way to go, and it may be because that's my job. However, what I discovered during the pandemic, of course, was how important using a travel agent was. Those that didn't have them seem to have lost quite a bit of money because they couldn't salvage the trips that were canceled. March came and the world seemed to fall apart. Travel was verboten, leaving the states, and even in some states you couldn't even travel out to another to visit family or anything. So when I had that, I've had my agency for 26 years, so I know how to book travel and I know how to save trips. And that's what happened. When things shut down, I was able to step in and save trips for my clients. I either got a refund for them or I was able to rebook them at a later date. That's what travel agents can do. We also get uh, emails every day from different suppliers offering us specials. And those aren't offered on Expedia or any of the mass booking engines that are on um, the internet. I also discovered that people would book hotels through some of those booking engines and then get to the hotel and discover that they didn't have a booking, that they couldn't find a booking, and then they were out of luck. We stand behind what we do, so I think that's one of the reasons that using a professional is really important.
I think that it became incredibly important with all of that things, all that stuff was going. I think it's important for entrepreneurs to use a travel agent anyway, simply because we're busy. We're so busy, and as an entrepreneur, I don't make $25 an hour. I make significantly more per hour. And if I take my time away from doing what I do to be fussing over the details of my trip, am actually devaluing myself and I'm driving down what I could be making. It's tanking because I'm spending all this time on details on things that it's not my expertise. And there's things that I don't even know what to look for. Like you said, I wouldn't even know that there was a better rate or, a way out. I think a way out was important too. There were people that were trapped in places that they couldn't get out of. And, a travel agent is attached to a larger entity and there's just more booking power there. They're not these companies. We all have to make choices about whose needs we can service immediately. Imagine you're a great big airline, you're a great big, you know, you're a big company that has like hotels, right? And you've got all of a sudden in the face of the pandemic, for example, there might have been thousands of customers screaming they want their money back and are you open and is this happening? And you were just not ready for that kind of a thing to happen. Who are you going to give your highest priority to? I mean, you got 5,000 people screaming at you. the ones you're going to try to keep happiest, the fastest, is your travel companies, your travel agencies, because they have buying power. Talking to one person there is going to keep, this many happy, whereas trying to do individual calls to each person is going to be like crazy town, and you're not going to be able to keep up. So I think just having booked your travel through an agent in the first place would have saved you so much trouble in a situation like that. Were you finding those kinds of things happening, Sharon, at that time?
I was, and what the general public doesn't know is that travel agents have different phone numbers to reach airlines, to reach suppliers, to reach hoteliers. So we're able to get through easier than the ones that would call me and say, oh, I booked my airline ticket on such and such, and now I don't know what to do. And I've been on the line for 5 hours waiting to talk to someone. And I had to say, and it was difficult, I had to say to them, I'm really sorry. I have to help the people that book through me. So I don't have time and I don't have the ability to fix what's going on with you. Yeah,
You know what? It's true. You would have to make choices, just like many of those companies were making choices right then. And I've heard some, pretty harsh stories where people lost the money completely for a trip that they had put down. And of course, they're angry with the airlines and angry with the hotels and angry with the, event planners and all of these different things. But each of those are businesses, and they were in positions where they had to make tough, tough decisions themselves. And nobody likes telling their customers no. Nobody wants to say, I can't do that. But you also have to think about, imagine you're a hotel and you were completely booked for the season, and you have all of these, people who rely on you for their incomes coming to work every day, and you have all of this expenses, and all of a sudden this thing happens that empties out your hotel, and you're standing there going, you're taking like a 90% dive into no revenue, and all these people are standing there with their hand out because you look after them. I mean, imagine the predicament that they were in. So for them to be, some of them, having long time, lots of money supporting them, been around for a long time, they could probably say, well, okay, we'll give people back their money right now. They just went to a bank account, took it out. What about these guys that didn't? They had to make tough decisions. And I know as consumers, we're like, well, that's not right. They should just give it back to us. You know what? When your business is crumbling all around you, that's a tough, tough place for those people to go. But the ones that they would want to hold on to the most would be those that booked with them the most. And that's going to come back to travel agents.
that, and while you were talking, I was thinking about the fact that we helped our clients when this happened for no charge at all. So we were doing it gratis in order to serve them and make sure that they were well taken care of. And
Wow.
perhaps that encouraged them to come back. I had people going to the South Pacific. Fortunately, was able to save their trip, and they're now going the beginning of next year. So
Right.
it's stuff like that that really makes using a travel agent important. They didn't have to
Yeah.
sit on the phone for hours waiting to talk to the airline. We took care of that for them.
That's really awesome. It's tremendous amount of work that must have went into that for the people that you were serving, and to, just do that for them. Wow, without charge. And for the peace of mind, just the peace of mind. And you never know when that type of a situation is going to happen in life, but there's other situations that could definitely happen. I mean, people have traveled. In fact, I was talking to somebody just recently that, was traveling in Ukraine
Wow.
recently, by yourself, dealing with a situation where something has happened, the government, the military. I would really rather be traveling with somebody on my side. When you think about it, these things we think, oh, that will never happen. These things happen, and having a travel agent working with you can be a lifesaver in some of these situations, because they are part of a larger entity that might have a bigger voice. They might be able to do something that you never thought of. They may even have resources where these things have happened before that they could call upon. And, as an individual, we would have no clue of what to do in those situations. So, I mean, there's just so many things that could happen. But to date, we know these are some of the extreme situations, but there's just even stuff like, what happens if we lose our luggage, Sharon? I mean, that happens a lot, doesn't it? When you get on an airplane, you go somewhere, and where did the luggage go? So can a travel agent help with those kinds of things that go wrong?
They can contact the airlines, or they can also help the client. Typically, they're somewhere else, and it does happen. I went to Dublin, my luggage went to London. It was winter, and my winter things were in my luggage, sitting in London while I was freezing in Ireland. But knowing what to do helped me go to the airline, get some appropriate clothing to keep me warm while my luggage was being sorted out to get to me. So yeah, we're there to help with stuff, things like that, or even hotel rooms. I had a client in Hawaii who called me up at 7 o'clock in the morning. His wife was in the bathroom. The knob fell off the door and she couldn't get out, and they didn't know what to do. So I got on the phone, called the hotel manager, made sure someone got up there right away to fix it for them. So we do things like that. And because I've traveled worldwide, I have a lot of contacts in other countries that I can go to when someone has a unique experience that they want to partake while they're gone. So it makes it nice because of that connection that I have as a travel agent.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I just think it's good to have somebody that's got your back. So let's talk about where you've been and some of the beautiful places. I'm going to share my screen, and we're gonna show some pictures and talk travel and show some really cool stuff, places where Sharon has been. So here we go. Let's go on a trip. Where's this?
This is Tahiti, and I can't say enough about it. They're open now for travel. We're closed for quite a while, and there are different ways of doing it. You can go and spend your time at a couple different resorts, or you can do something like a cruise to visit the different islands while you're there. The Paul Gauguin is a beautiful cruise ship, small, gets in and out of the different uh, islands, and the service is fantastic. Those are overwater bungalows, so a lot of times people will go there, do 5 nights or so in a regular um, bungalow, and then splurge at the end so they have that memory of the overwater bungalow with the what they call Tahitian TV. It's the opening in the floor that you can watch the fish swim and feed the fish to get them to come and swim. So it's really kind of unique.
Oh, wow. That's really
Mhm.
cool. Awesome. And I see that you were out there celebrating with somebody. Where's this?
This is Africa.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I can see the giraffes in the
Yes,
background.
right. This is in South Africa. And when they do an evening game drive, they always stop and have nightcaps like that. It's called a sundowner. So they bring out snacks and drinks, and then you're out there with the animals, actually enjoying yourself and watching them while they watch you. And you live
Wow,
pretty close to them too.
that's
I've had
amazing.
I've had an elephant walk right up to the front of the vehicle I was in, and I was in the front seat, so I was a little nervous. But
That's
as you can see,
amazing.
I survived it.
Gorgeous. Well, look at that. Is it water buffalo?
Yes, it is, again in Africa. And I,
Is this one of
well,
your clients or friends?
it's my daughter.
Okay,
And
cool.
that was on our trip to Venice, as you
Oh,
can see
awesome. I
back
can see
there.
the water streets behind there.
Mhm.
Amazing.
And popular. And I've flown on Air New Zealand. New Zealand is one of my favorite countries. It's small enough to be able to do the whole 2 islands, the North and South Island. And it's about as big as the state of California if you put them together. but they're
Wow.
so different.
Where is this?
This is actually in Arizona at the zoo,
Oh, wow.
and I caught a little hummingbird feeding.
Amazing.
Hmm.
What a great shot. And where is this?
This is in Vietnam.
Wow. Gorgeous. I mean that structure there, I think I've seen something like that, like in the
Hmm.
Pirates of the Caribbean or something.
The two kissing rocks like that.
Yeah.
And that was a
Amazing.
cruise that we did. You can cruise in so many places, and it's so wonderful because you see a lot of places.
And where's this?
That's Jamaica. That's Rose Hill, and it's supposedly a haunted plantation house,
Oh,
which is
wow.
fun to go and visit and get the story of the plantation and what went on there.
Wow.
Gorgeous. And Jamaica's open for visitors. That's the
Oh,
better shot at the front of it.
wonderful.
Hmm.
Is this Jamaica or somewhere else?
That's Sandals. That's
Nice.
a Sandals resort in the Caribbean.
Wow.
There's their boat. You can go out. They offer so many activities that you can go out and boat, spend your time doing that. You can swim. You can. They're full service, so you can eat anytime, drink anytime. The
Wow.
next one is just on a hike in Australia.
Wow. Kind of the rock is very similar to Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and I've been to Peggy's Cove, so I'll agree with you on that.
Interesting. Wow. You look at the rock there in Peggy's Cove and you think, wow, like what conditions would make this rock like this? And so whatever it was happened there too. Look at that.
Right.
It's amazing. Crazy. Okay, what's this?
Get the little baby kangaroo.
Cool.
And
The
again,
shot, you can't tell how big it is in the shot, so I'm looking at it. First I thought it was some kind of a rabbit.
no,
That's a
but see
kangaroo.
how close you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was in the parking lot of one of the areas, and it just kind of
Wow.
walked up and said hello.
Cool. Where is this?
That's in France. It's actually from the Second World War, and it was a German bunker that was still there. We went up to Normandy, and that's
Wow.
where it is.
Incredible.
A lot of history.
And where
How
are
do
we
you
now?
like that? Oh, in China, when China was a place to visit. Right now, I don't know.
Great.
But look at what they carry on their bikes. They
Amazing.
get around.
Wow. Also China?
Um, that's in Japan.
Oh,
It's one of the religious buildings in Japan.
wow. Well, that wasn't in my backyard.
No, but it's interesting. Those that want to stay in the U.S. and do a little travel need to get down to Louisiana and go on a boat and feed the alligators.
You can
You can get
feed them from the boat. That's what's happening there. He's got a stick out and he's actually feeding that alligator.
right. I have
Wow.
to remember alligators are here and the crocs are in Australia. So you can do that
Right.
with the crocs too.
Oh, wow. Crocs
Hmm.
are they bigger?
They're huge, but
Wow.
you get some pretty big ones in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And that's also in Arizona. That's the end of Route 66 in Oatman, Arizona, where the burros are wild there. So you go into a little shop or something, the burros follow you right in. When the miners left, they left them all behind. So they
They've
just
been fending for
find
themselves ever since.
exactly, or guests that are going to feed them.
Wow.
And
Where
that
are we here?
in Tahiti. And that's out the
Nice.
back window of one of the tenders. The guys seem to be following us in one of their crafts.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Cool.
good memories. And that's how we were greeted when we got off the tender on the island there.
Wow.
You know, it's interesting because in Fiji, I don't know if I have any pictures there, when you pull into a resort, the group comes out and greets you with a song. And then when you leave, you also are given a farewell song. And that one touches my heart every time because it's a thank you to the people that come and visit with them.
Wow.
A little different than Tahiti. That is in Poland. That's the Jewish cemetery
Oh,
outside
wow.
of Krakow. A lot of memories.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That would be intense. I one it's kind of weird, but one of my favorite places to visit when I'm traveling is I like to go by cemeteries and see how things are set up there and how people have been remembered. And man, we have found some really amazing artifacts and just pieces of history that you would miss without visiting those places.
And I think of that too, especially when you mentioned Peggy's Cove. And I
Mhm.
think of the people that are buried there. We did go and to a cemetery there too and look at the headstones, and it
Yeah,
was in,
there's a cemetery there, and there is a dead shipyard there too. It's really interesting to see all the ships that are. Um, it's like a ship graveyard. It's just amazing. But I was traveling last year across Canada, and we have a story of Laura Secord, and we visited the cemetery where she was buried. And I had no idea that a major battle had happened there between Canada and the U.S. right there. And most of us don't even realize that ever happened.
right.
But we could see it, the evidence of it, still in the cemetery. And they had monuments and plaques and different things commemorating what had happened there. So I find these places to be very powerful. Like this one would take you right into the history of what happened there, and I imagine it would be very gripping even to this day of just remembering the history of the Holocaust.
Right, because Auschwitz is so close to there. So you go there and then you go to the cemetery, or vice versa. Go to the cemetery and then visit that site. And the
Wow.
history that you can get around the world when you travel that you don't see when you don't travel.
Wow. And what's going on here?
Oh, we're making pierogies in Poland. And
Oh,
that
you're
is
making pierogies.
exactly my favorite, one of my favorite
That's
foods.
Oh, is it really? It's a staple
Yeah.
food here. We have a huge Ukrainian community here in the area that I'm from, and my family is Ukrainian, so I grew up eating pierogies and,
Me
and
too.
all kinds of Ukrainian foods.
I'm half Polish, so visiting Poland and making a pierogi was a real treat for me. And I
Mhm.
know someone that runs a cooking school where people can do that. They travel through Poland and then they learn to cook with the Polish women. Some of them are the Highland women, and then there's a great chef in Krakow where you can go and he shows you a little bit about the uh, preparing food for the 5-star eaters. I'm not. I'll eat the pierogi. I'm a sweet.
Nice. Oh, there's the whole group.
Yeah, and the Polish women that worked with us preparing the food and the makings for the dinners that we made.
Amazing.
And I had some kids there too that did some singing and dancing in Polish.
It's fabulous. So where is this?
Actually, that's just outside of Portland, Oregon.
Oh, really? What is
Visitor
that?
center. It's a visitor center, and it's on the where the ships pass by the Snake River.
Right.
Really unique. It's a beautiful building.
Fabulous.
Mhm.
And what are we looking at
Waterfall.
here?
Okay.
Where is that?
It's in Oregon also. It's a great waterfall. And then the bridge, you can walk across the bridge up there. You don't get wet. It's behind it,
Wow.
but it's really high.
And where's this?
That's Crater Lake in Oregon.
Looks a lot like it looks like you could be in Canada. It's
Yep.
very similar
Hmm.
terrain to what you would find in the Rocky Mountains.
That's in Croatia.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I've been
Yeah.
networking with some guys from Croatia. Lovely architecture. And this one?
That one is in the canal in Venice. So we went out to Murano Island, the glass flowing island.
Yeah.
It's famous for the glass. And those were, you can see the water lines, you can see the damage that's been done by some of the water, but it's still beautiful.
It's amazing. I love how they love their color on their
Hmm.
buildings. You know, they're not the buildings are not just white and brown and they look at this. There's red, there's
Hmm.
yellow.
And there's a great island off of Venice. It's Murano, and it's the lace making. And they are um, colored in blue and white and pink and different colors. It's just like going to the Caribbean where they have the houses painted so uh, bright and cheerful.
I like that. I think we could use more of that here. And what are we looking at here?
It's Fort Mchenry, and for those that don't know it, it's where the Star Spangled Banner was written. And so
Awesome.
when you go to visit the site, they have a number of different things that you can see while you're there, but they also play that, our national anthem, and then raise the curtain where you can see the flag flying in the background.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
And where are
And
we
that's
here?
outside of Maryland, close to DC. I,
Cool.
sh- I should have sent you more Australia pictures and stuff so you
Yeah.
could see. Mm.
Well, we'll have to do this again where you show us new places. Where is this?
This is in New Zealand, and it's Tipua. It's a Maori area where they show visitors the old crafts that the Maoris are trying to teach the younger kids now. It's the
Hmm.
geyser area. It's on the North Island, and they have a geyser. It's like a miniature Old Faithful. So it goes off a number of times while you're there. But
Wow.
you can spend time then with the Maori people too, learning about their culture.
Wow.
Hmm.
Oh, beautiful work
Who's
on
there?
that.
Yeah, they are very great artists.
It reminds me of the totem poles of North America.
And I think that that's a really great comment to make because I ask my clients when they're going somewhere if they will look at the differences and the similarities. So when they come back, we can talk about what we see. You might go out in the yard and see flowers that you grow at home, but you're not at home. You might be in Australia.
Hmm.
And it's the same with the people. There are a lot of similarities, no matter what they are, with us. And
Yeah,
different.
there's things that help us relate immediately. Like these are, our people. This is our home. This world is our home.
Hmm.
I was just thinking, Sharon, once I traveled to Los Angeles and I got there and I had a series of problems. My credit cards wouldn't work and I had just a pile of issues. And I drove across Los Angeles looking for a bank that was supposed to be a Canadian bank. And nothing was there. It wasn't a real Canadian bank. And I was so upset and I was, trying to figure out what my next move was going to be. And I looked across the parking lot and it was a super hot day and I was getting into rush hour and I'm going to have to drive all the way back. And my trip had like this thing that I just did to find the help that I need was fruitless. And I was feeling pretty frustrated. And I looked across the street and there was a Starbucks. And I love Starbucks at home. And when I walked into the Starbucks just to sit down and rest and kind of get my thoughts back, it was like heaven. Like I heard a chorus of angels. It's like it just made me feel like I was right in my own city and everything was just fine. And I just need to sit down and have a latte, just relax and think, and it was all going to be all right. So it's funny how we find these places or these things to connect to, whether it's a flower or a Starbucks or something that's just that looks like what you would know and experience at home.
Mhm.
Where is this?
This is in Germany, and it's part of the river cruise ship that we took on the Danube. So that's
Nice.
the
Is
starting
this the
point.
river cruise ship that we're looking at on the to the right of the page?
Yes. Hmm.
Wow. Wow. I've looked at into having going on a river cruise. I had no idea they have windows like this along the sides of them.
Right. And they have this one doesn't, but it has a window that drops down halfway. So you have the opening, but some of them have a little balcony too that
Wow.
you can enjoy while you're on there. And it's floor to ceiling or almost floor to ceiling windows. So you really get the view. And it's one of the ways that I enjoy traveling the
Yeah.
rivers like that
Oh, gorgeous.
and see what you can see out the window.
So that's your bed is right there and you can see
Yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
Oh, that's amazing. You're actually right in your own space there. That's amazing. Gorgeous. And what am I
And,
looking at here?
and again, that's one of their statues that where the confluence of two rivers meet. They have that statue in Germany.
Wow. Looks like it's made of bronze or something. It's green and yeah, amazing.
And that is up the top of the ship. So you can go up there and sit and really get the view of what you're traveling through. You see
Gorgeous.
vineyards where the people are working in the vineyards. And we've been so close to land in traveling that you feel like you can reach out and touch it. It's just so neat. And you also see the working ships. So the people that move merchandise up and down the river, you see those and the families that live on them. So you see laundry hanging on there and little kids there.
And where are we here?
That's one of the accommodations in Africa, if you believe it.
In Africa.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Very,
It's gorgeous.
very, yeah,
Looks like
they
my
are.
bedroom. Love it. I love it. Lots of space.
It,
Beautiful.
and then you can step outside. Typically, they have a porch of some kind outside where you can watch the animals. And some of them come up pretty close. It's really
Oh,
nice. It's a great experience. And
nice.
South Africa is open to visitors and non-visitors.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, non-visitors, right? Vaccinated and unvaccinated.
Sweet.
Hmm.
And where is this here?
That's the swimming pool on the Paul Gauguin ship.
Oh, so again, this is a cruise ship. Is this a river ship or is this a port ship?
It's the one in Tahiti, so it's a smaller ship.
Wow.
A
Beautiful.
little carries a little more than a river cruise ship, but not that many. It's not like the big things that are have thousands of people on them.
Yeah. Oh, this is the Hobbit House. Where is this
It
at?
sure is. It's in New Zealand. It's about an hour or so north of Rotorua on the North Island, and it's open. When they filmed it, they didn't think it was going to be popular, so they let it go. But people wanted to see the Hobbit houses, so they rebuilt it into an area that you can go and visit. And the houses are different colors, or the doors in different shapes. There, there's nothing inside, but if the doors open, you can step in and take a picture like you've been in there visiting with the Hobbits.
Cool. Look at
Yes.
that. West Farthing.
Mhm. Yep.
This is you and your daughter
Mhm. On a
oh,
river cruise.
on a river cruise.
Right.
And where are you here?
I'm in Chicago. reminiscing about where I used to live years ago. You can see how cold it is.
Yes.
But I took my daughter on the cruise in Chicago so she could see the buildings and stuff. She'd never really been.
Yeah. And
And
then
you
I
can,
think oh, that was Tahiti, and this is Swamp Thing. That's
right.
not in Tahiti.
No, that's a Louisiana swamp boat where you go out and feed gators.
Nice. So what is this? A cigar shop or chocolates?
Uh, it's a chocolate shop. And again, it was in one of the ports in Germany. You get out and you really get out with the people and stuff, see what's going
Nice.
on.
Is this in Germany?
Yeah, a lot of the villages are like that, where the streets are narrow, kind of like Ireland. They built them for horse and carriages, so that's why it can be a little tricky driving in Ireland because the roads are so narrow.
And you're
But
getting some good wine along the way as you're taking these trips.
exactly.
Awesome. It's a great. I love visiting wineries when we're traveling. It's an awesome experience. And where is this?
This is actually, it's the Grand Canyon from a different view. Um, I took my daughter up there. We hadn't been up there in years. And the guide that we went with took us to an area that was not heavily populated with visitors. So we were able to get a different view of the canyon from there.
Nice. It's gorgeous. Is this, and this
That's
is it again?
hmm And that's a picture from one of the big ships that travel. And that's the background is Boston. So that's was where
You're
we
that
started.
high up on the ship.
Oh, yeah. hmm
Wow.
They can
It's like,
have 14 decks on some of them.
yeah, it looks to me like you're like 10 stories up because you're
Mhm.
looking down on a building that's a 7-story building over there.
Mhm.
Amazing. And then we're back to the
Tahiti.
beginning. Yeah. So cool. Well, thank you for taking us for a trip around the world.
Right. Thank you for giving me my memories again of those trips.
It's
And I
beautiful.
wanted to say, if we have a couple minutes, that I just got email the other day telling me that there are 35 countries that are open for, I mentioned it before, for those that are vaccinated and unvaccinated, because some people can't be vaccinated, but they still want to travel. So, as an agent, I have a list of those, and I have a list of the requirements that are needed to get in. And it doesn't mean that they have to be vaccinated, but some of them are loose restrictions, some are a little tighter, but they can still travel there. So that's another thing that travel agents are good for.
And it's always an ever-changing list as well, I'm
Mhm.
sure. And that's another reason these days to really be using a travel agent who can keep
Right,
you updated about what is going on. You probably also get notifications when something is about to change, getting worse or better.
right.
Because you probably, if you were scheduled to leave on the 9th and on the 8th, the legislation is suddenly going to change, the travel agent might be aware of that, and the average individual would miss it. So,
hmm
it'd be great to have a heads up, you
Right.
know,
I'll say,
and for any number of things that could change too, and even things like storms heading in that direction or something is about to change dramatically. That it's not the way now that it was when you left.
hmm
So yeah, good to know. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And how do people reach you? How do they find you? How do they get Travel by Sharon, the concierge service that you offer? Where would they go?
they can go to my website. It's www.travelbysharon.com. They can call me 480-949-0637. They can find me on Facebook. I do have a Facebook page, and I post something every day. Might be an interesting fact about something in the world, or it might be something that I've discovered that people might be interested in going to see. So those are three of the ways.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I know that this is a great way to travel, have someone in your back corner. So reach out and talk to Sharon, definitely, and find out what she can do for you. Find out what countries are open right now, and get your heads up. I know a lot of people itching to travel because it's just been a difficult last couple of years. Now's the time. Let's get
Right.
going. Let's get on the road and go do some cool stuff. So thanks for
Exactly.
sharing with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having
All
me.
right. Happy capitalism, everybody. It's time to get back on the road. Let's go traveling.